Hey guys, welcome back. For those of you who are ADHD like myself, you're going to appreciate this video because I'm going to run you through basically 100 different things at lightning speed, and you're going to learn a lot in a very short amount of time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a sign. Okay, so this isn't a real sign. This is just a mock-up, something I'm doing for this video. We're going to run through it very quickly. Luckily, because of video, you can pause it, you can rewind, showing my age there. But anyways, we're going to go through this very quickly. Now I have three elements here that I want to incorporate into this fishing sign that I'm going to make. I've got this sign shape that I've downloaded off the internet. I've got this shape that is a fishing rod, and then I've got this fish here. Now, I'm designing this so that it can be cut out with a laser or a plasma cutter or something along those lines. I'm looking for artwork that has all of the lines connected in it, and that allows me to cut 2D shapes or 2D pieces of material like metal or wood or acrylic or whatever it is. It allows me to cut those and keep them intact so that small pieces don't fall through. So here I'm going to just create a sign. So here's my sign shape. I'll start there. And I've got this fishing rod. Well, let's start with the fish actually. I want to start with this fish. So this fish I just copied and pasted straight from the internet. And the first thing I want to do is I want to turn this into a vector. So I'm going to click image trace, and then I'm going to click expand. Expand will split this into separate fills and paths. Now with my subselection tool, which is the white arrow up here, not the black arrow with the white outline, it is a white arrow. I will click out of here. I'll click the white area. I'm going to come up here, click select similar objects, and then hit delete. That will isolate this fish from the background so that I can delete the background. Now I'll just take this fish and I'm going to move this fish over here to this part of my sign, and I'm going to put it in a place that I think looks good. We'll put it there for now, okay? I'm going to do the same thing on my fishing pole. I'm going to, seems like I've already traced this. I'll just expand it. And again, I'm going to use my subselection tool, click the white area, click on similar, delete that so I can isolate that fishing rod. And I'll come over here and find a place where that looks relatively good. Okay. So I've got the bare bones basically of my sign here. I can make this smaller like that so that we can fit this sign in a particular area. Now what I want to do is I want to take this hook and I want to put it in this fish's mouth. Let's modify this section of the artwork. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to try and, using my subselection tool, I want to try and select just this hook here. I can fix this other artwork later, but I'm just going to grab this hook and I'm going to bring it out here. Now you see as I come up here, these lines near the top of the fishing pole, they're going to get crossed, and I don't really want that. So let's make that a little wider for now anyways, so that we can continue modifying this hook. I'll bring this hook down, and I'm just going to hide it basically maybe right here in the corner of the fish's mouth. Okay? Now I can come up here and I can fix, I can fix this line just like so. So now I've got what basically looks like this fishing rod catching this fish. Okay? Easy enough. That's what the subselection tool. The subselection tool lets you select individual anchor points and then modify those individual anchor points. Okay? Super simple. All right, now what I'm going to do is I have this sign here, but what I want is I want this sign And then on the inside of this sign, I want kind of this relief or this open area or border around it, and then solid again in the center. So I need to work with that a little bit. So let's copy it and paste it so that I can work with this a little bit and copy it and paste it again. Okay, now I'm going to shrink this down a little bit. Let's change the color to some sort of gray here so I can see it. Now that's one way to do it. The other way to do it would be to, instead of shrinking it, we can just go to Object, Path, and Offset Path, and we can do this a negative, let's say 0.1. How does that work? That's going to double your image there. So now I'm going to copy and paste it again so that I have two. I'm going to change the color on this one to a gray, just so I can see what's going on. Now what I want is I want this kind of offset border here around the whole edge of the sign. Okay, so we're going to use the tool Offset, and we're going to go to Object, Path, and we're going to Offset Path. I'm going to offset the path, let's say by 0.125. That would be 1/8 of an inch, which is probably as small as you want to go on a plasma cutter. Probably on a laser with acrylic or wood, that would be okay. But on a plasma cutter, 1/8 of an inch is probably cutting it pretty close. Okay, so I did that the wrong way. Let's do it again. Object, Path, Offset Path. I'm going to go negative 0.125 inches. And that should give me a shape that is basically inset 1/8 of an inch from the original shape. But it also duplicates that original shape. So what I have to do is I have to delete, I have to select my sub-selection tool, delete that first one. Now I can come back here and put this shape on here. Now that gives me a border of 1/8 of an inch in, as far as this 12 by 12 artboard goes. Gives me a border 1/8 of an inch in. I'm going to Control C to copy, Control V to paste, and I'm going to offset this again. Okay, so I'm going to go to Object, Path, Offset Path, same thing. Delete our original. Make sure you have your sub-selection tool. Delete your original. And just so you can see it, let's change the color. And there we go. Now I have what I want to be the center metal or wood area or acrylic or whatever it is you're cutting. And then I have the outer metal or acrylic or wood or whatever it is you're cutting. And then this lighter gray here, this medium gray, this should be the space between these two parts. So what I'm going to do is I want to subtract. I want this to disappear. This light gray area here, I want it to be gone. So what I'm going to do, and this is one of the most powerful tools in Illustrator, is the Pathfinder tool. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select this black sign shape here. I'm going to hold down Shift. I'm going to select this gray shape here. And then I'm going to come down to Pathfinder. If you can't see Pathfinder, you go to Window, Pathfinder. Mine's already showing. Okay, so again, I'll select those. And then you're going to minus front. And what that does is that subtracts the front item from the back item, which basically cuts it out. Now if I move this down, you'll see that we now have a cutout of that border. All right, so now we have the cutout, and now we have the center. We'll go ahead and make the center black because that's what we want. And now we can delete this first one, and we can move this sign kind of up into position, right? And I think this was, I don't remember now, maybe right around there. Okay, now if we use the sub-selection tool, we can come in here and we can clean this up a bit. Okay, we can come in here and we can select these individual nodes and start moving them in away from the edge of this artwork. That's one way to do this. is just to manually move each anchor point up and out of the way. I'm going to move all these out of the way so they don't overlap. Oops. Okay, that is the hard way to do that. Okay, I can move these up. Okay, you get the gist of this. All right, I can move these all out of the way so that now we have our sign. The easier way to do that would, of course, be to draw a shape with the pen tool, all right, like this, around those sections that were showing underneath, and then use the Pathfinder tool again, minus front, and it would subtract it from that. Okay, so that would be the easier way to do that. Now I just want to add in some wording. So let's type in gone fishing, and we'll change that to white so we can see it. Hold down Shift to keep your aspect ratio. Let's find a font that looks okay. All right, here we go, gone fishing. Let's center these to each other. I'm going to select this black section, which is the back of the sign. Hold down Shift, select the text. Hold down Shift, selects the bar. Then I'm going to let go of Shift. I'm going to click the background, this black background again. You see it gets a thick line. That means that the black background is the reference. I'll click horizontal center align. It will keep the black background where it was while aligning the text and the bar. And there you go. And now I'm just going to say text 555 555 1212. Change the color on that to white. And again, we'll bring this right here. Okay. And if you want to align it again, you can. Just hold down Shift, select the bar, select this text, select the background, let go of Shift, select the background again, center align, that'll align everything. There is your sign. Now this would work fine if you were engraving this on a piece of wood. It would not work fine if you were cutting this out of a piece of material like wood or metal or something like that. If you were cutting this out of a piece of material, you would want to put in some tabs to hold these things in. All you have to do if you want to do that is just select your rectangle tool here. We'll turn it black, and I'm just going to add some things in here, some tabs in here. I'm being quick and dirty here, guys. I'm not trying to be beautiful, okay? I'm just going to copy this down to this section here. I'll make a tab here. Hold down Alt and click and drag to make a copy. Take that tab there. Now you have some tabs here that will hold this metal section in, or this wood section, or whatever it is. If you want to make these bigger, you can. Hold down Alt, and that will do it. That will resize from the center. Let's make these tabs a little bigger. Just like that. I'm going to hold Shift while I select those, make those both a little bigger. And there's our tabs to hold the innards of that sign. The other things that we're going to have to hold, let's say that in this particular example, all the black areas are metal or wood or acrylic or some sort of material, and all the white areas are just hollow. Well, some of these things are going to fall out. The O is going to fall out. The top of this E is going to fall out. The top of this E here is going to fall out. So all we have to do is come in here and just very quickly draw some rectangles to hold in these sections. And there you go. Now, if we were to cut this out on a plasma cutter or on a laser or something like that, none of this stuff would fall out and it would all be one piece, okay? That's really all there is to it. Now, in order to get this all into, we have multiple layers here, right? So we'll go to layers, and here you can see all of our different layers, all right? What we can do here is, again, most powerful tool you're going to find in Illustrator is the Pathfinder tool. I'm going to select my selection tool. I'm going to draw a square around this whole sign, and I'm going to come to Pathfinder and Unite. That did not give me what I wanted it to give me, okay? Because I have done some things out of order. So I'll undo, Control Z. First thing I need to do is I need to convert this text to a shape. So Control Shift O. That converts this text to an object. The text is no longer editable. Okay, it's no longer text, it is an image. I'm going to do the same thing this one here. Control Shift O. That creates basically an object or an image. Now I'm going to take this background, Shift, I'm going to click this text here, I'm going to click this text here, and then I'm going to use minus front. This will cut, oh, I forgot the bar, select the bar, minus front. What this is going to do is this is going to, I'm just going to drag this center portion here. This is going to cut, you can see it's cut now. Those letters are cut right through that background, okay? Now I think we're ready. So selection tool, draw a box around this. We're going to go to Pathfinder and then Unite. And Unite should turn this all into one solid vector. So if I go to the layers panel, you see that now I only have, well, since I do have a couple layers here. Okay, so that shows me where some of my problem areas are. I have this eyeball here that's not connected, and I have this fin here that's not connected. So let's fix those. This fin, I'm going to use my sub-selection tool. This fin here, let's ungroup it, and let's pull this in just like that. Okay, and then on the eyeball, we'll turn that on, and on the eyeball, let's just bring that down a little bit so that it touches as well. Now we can select it all, Pathfinder, Unite, and now we should have just one layer, and that's all we have, just the one layer. And if we drag this off, you can see that it's all cut out. We could now take this to a plasma cutter, a laser, a vinyl cutter, an X-carve, or another CNC. Basically, any computer-controlled Cricut. You can do this on a Cricut. Any machine, you can now take this, save this as an SVG, take this and cut it. I know that this was a very ADHD way of going through making a sign, but for those of you who are my speed,